Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moltrap here, bringing you game number 2. Game number 2 of Julyzerg versus Saferzerg here in the IOPS OSL quarterfinal. The round of 8. Do you see that? That's just. Hold on a sec. I gotta go back. For just a second here. This is 2005, ladies and gentlemen, and we have kids waving their Nokia flip phones around. I don't know if it's Nokia actually, but look at that. Waving their flip phones in the air. That is so funny. That is just really funny. Anyway, here we go with game number 2 with Saferzerg versus Julyzerg. And you can see Julyzerg's tag there is Pirates of Space, or it says POS, right? POS is Pirates of Space, which is his team name, which I keep forgetting, but Pirates of Space ended up becoming, I believe, NBC game later on. I'll try and look that up on the sidelines while we're getting into this game. But we're gonna have, by the way, a little bit different color scheme here. Julyzerg is going to be the red Zerg player at the top right-hand side of the map, and that means that the purple Zerg is going to be Saferzerg up at the top left-hand side of the map. Oh, sorry, I tried to look it up, and apparently I just looked up Pirates of Space StarCraft, and I clicked on the wiki because I'm trying not to pay too much attention to it while I'm casting this. And we got a drone scout, by the way, for Saferzerg, by the way. But anyway, apparently there's something called a space pirate. In the lore, space pirates are ghosts who work for the Chimeran Pirates, a mercenary organization. I did not know that. Anyway, and I'm also seeing that the third result, though, is Liquipedia, and yes, Ecosys Pirates of Space. Let's see, Pirates of Space became Ecosys POS, which became Pirates of Space again in 2005, and then NBC Game Hero in 2006. So, in another year or so, the team will change over to that. Anyway, so we got a drone coming in here. Is this going to be some kind of a sunken rush or something like? No, it's just a weird scout. I mean, it's an interesting scout. This is. I wonder if he has something planned. Okay, no pool yet. So this is actually a cool move. He's scouting with this drone. You know, in ZVZ, if your opponent gets an early pool, you want to know about it, right? If they get a medium pool, or like a middle timing pool, you want to know about that too. And so that's exactly what. Look at this. So he scouts the 12 pool and goes 12 hatch. Just says, you know what? I'm going to counter you. So very nicely played here. He's going to have a little bit better economy. And the drone scout, you know, sacrifices some mining time, but if he can do enough harassment with this drone that he causes a lack of mining time for Julyzerg, it'll be worth it. Plus, being able to select the correct build order, you know, if he saw it was a 9 pool from Julyzerg, a really quick attack, then, or that Julyzerg was not in that position, that would have changed things completely as well, actually. It's kind of lucky that he scouted Julyzerg first. Very lucky that he did so. And actually very interesting that he sent his drone there and his overlord in the same spot. I wonder if it's something about it's the closest run location or something like that. Anyway, point being though, so this is what I was talking about before in game number 1. Julyzerg has his Zerglings out earlier, but by the time they arrive to Saferzerg's base, he's gonna have his own Zerglings out. So he's going to gain an economic advantage by getting that hatchery first, but not a strong tactical disadvantage because of the defensive nature of the fact that he's all the way across the map. Actually, he's going to get there just a little bit before the lings pop out, and you know, a drone is forced to run away a little bit, but not too big of a deal. So now Zergling's chasing back out along the way. Julyzerg may have droned up a little bit on the flip side of this. Put some pressure on him, make him build Zerglings, then build your own drones, fall back with your own Zerglings to defend. Now that Julyzerg Zerglings are running, Saferzerg Zerglings, the purple ones, are running across the map. Now Julyzerg is going to have to be forced to make his own Zerglings to counter that. And we're going to have some Zergling skirmishes here, and you can see both players just adding a couple lings to the mix, and then running back to their own lings, reinforcements, and then engaging and running back again. And actually Julyzerg coming out on ahead there. I'm not even sure how. It looked like he had a couple less Zerglings. Maybe he microed a little bit better. You can see, you know, the Zerglings will engage. They'll pull them back for a moment and then re-engage again. It's a very similar, it's a more sloppy, less easy to control, slightly less effective version of the Zealots, where you do it with Zealots. Oh, actually, Julyzerg catching a few Zerglings out in the open without their teammates and picking them off. Spire is about 20% complete there for Julyzerg, and we'll see if we can spot in Saferzerg's base to see if he's about the same place. So yeah, Saferzerg, this is the thing. You get your pool later, you get your lair later, you get your Spire later. So Saferzerg now is going to be the one that's going to have to be a little bit defensive on the air, as Julyzerg's going to have his mutas out earlier. And this is a map, by the way, where you can kind of see on the main map a little bit that there's a base nearby their base. And it's an interesting setup where the reason why you have, if you're not familiar with this map, the reason why we have them setting up their Zerglings in the weird choke in the middle is because it's one choke that controls the area that if you go, left or right and up, it'll go to each of the bases. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Basically, there's an expansion, but the choke to the expansion does not also control your main. You have to control the one choke that goes to both. And actually, both players kind of engaging here in this middle area where it's kind of a pathway between one side of the map and the other. And oh, this time Saferzerg catches a few Zerglings and picks them off. Julyzerg in a little bit of trouble here. He has less Zerglings, but his mutas are popping out. The mutas take a little bit of time to build, though. This is a great timing for Saferzerg, going in with the Zerglings, knowing he has an economic advantage on the minerals by having more of drones in the first place, and he is going to be able to get in with several Zerglings. He's popped a couple drones so far. Looks like 2 or 3 drones, 4 drones. He's going to lose a lot of Zerglings, but I think it's 5 drones that he's killed. Is he going to get a 6th drone? He's getting so many drone kills. 6 or 7 drones. The Mutalisks are cleaning up these Zerglings slowly and steadily, but they're getting so many kills. And the drones were trying to escape by running back and forth to the gas and what have you. And so they weren't mining. And now he loses. Okay, so Saferzerg is going to lose an overload, but he's going to get another drone kill. Julyzerg has 3 drones. Julyzerg has 3 drones. The crowd letting out an awe there they're in awe of these Scourge coming. Oh, and they're going to catch Julyzerg in a corner. Oh no! The Scourge are going to catch Julyzerg in a really poor position where he couldn't microwave several land. He kills off, I think, about 3 or 4 Mutalisks and badly injures at least one of the remaining ones. Now, is he going to actually make his own mutas? No, hold on. Julyzerg, though, still has those mutas alive. He's regrouped, and by making only Scourge, Saferzerg doesn't really have a lot to combat this. And he's just fighting for dear life with these Scourge. He's going to keep killing Mutalisks, but there's still a couple left, so he's going to keep getting drones. So Julyzerg, down to very few drones, is trying to make it up by attacking these enemy drones as well. Only 2 mutas left. The Scourge continue to land. It's so hard to micro against them. And remember, Mutalisk clumping has not really been invented yet. And so you can't clump up your mutas and then micro back away. And so look at this. He's actually down to 1 muta, but he's killing off so many drones. Saferzerg has now lost most of his drones. And he's making Zerglings. Wait, Saferzerg is making Zerglings? He's having to run his drones away. He's lost every single drone except this one, which is running away. But he's running for a counterattack with Zerglings because he says, all right, if I lose all my drones, but I can kill all of your drones, we're even. And who knows what would happen in that case, but it looks like Julyzerg, though, has countered with his own Zerglings. He built drones while he was defending with the mutas. He rebuilt his drone count and then started building Zerglings. Saferzerg has not been able to keep up in the Zergling attack. I think Saferzerg is just dead. He has no drones. Julyzerg has more lings. What can Saferzerg do right now? He looks like he's gotten a couple drones back out again. Scourge coming across the map. The mutas, I guess, Julyzerg had to switch into... No! No, Julyzerg didn't make drones. Julyzerg didn't make drones. He just kept making Zerglings after that attack. That's how he was able to have enough Zerglings to counter it. You know, Julyzerg is such a genius. He knows this game so well. He probably said, all right, the only option my opponent has right now is to make Zerglings. So I'm going to make no drones. I'm only going to make Zerglings. And if I can even things up that way, as long as I win the Zergling battle long term, if I've killed all his drones, I win. So Julyzerg making tons of Zerglings and not actually droning up. So now Julyzerg continuing to make Zerglings, it looks like. Wants to win this battle on the ground. Saferzerg had to spend 3 larvae and his only minerals that he probably had in the bank to make those 3 drones. So now they're even on drones, but Julyzerg is gambling, banking on the fact that he did enough damage that having to build those 3 drones means that he's a little bit behind on the Zerglings. It looks like that, it's hard to tell though, it's not really quite the case though. I think they're about even on those Zerglings. And look at that Scourge hanging out there. Julyzerg getting a nice position, angling around the side, so that actually Saferzerg was in a nice spot to defend his choke, but Julyzerg was able to angle in around the side to get a nice even line, and now Julyzerg is able to get in here with a couple Zerglings, and Saferzerg having a couple extras at the end of it. Julyzerg is going to be able to be annoying with this one Zergling running around. He's going to try and get a drone kill, but only the one Zergling is going to be really difficult for him to actually get this drone kill. But this is what you need to do when you're behind on the Zerglings. You actually need to attack instead of trying to defend. Oh, he gets a drone! He actually picked off a drone with that Zergling before it died. A nice little snipe though. And Julyzerg has droned up in the background of this, knowing that Saferzerg had to stay back to defend his own drones. He could afford to make a few less Zerglings and make a couple more drones. So Julyzerg now up to 5 drones right now. It's just, I mean, GVZ is such a close matchup here. It looks like Saferzerg forced to run with his own Zerglings, but again, we're kind of back to this back and forth. Oh, and he catches him, and he's actually beautiful positioning by Saferzerg. Very nice. In expectation of his own Zergling reinforcements arriving on the scene, he suddenly juked backwards towards Julyzerg's base, stopping the retreat in order to get a surround on him, and coming out a little bit ahead in that, I think. But Julyzerg just has more drones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 drones for Julyzerg. How many do we have over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Saferzerg. This is just an absolute showcase of just the absolute top Zerg versus Zerg mind games and game knowledge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Julyzerg is droned up again as well. The decision making in this is just absolutely amazing. I can't even fully comprehend it. I don't know if anyone but a programmer could fully comprehend it at this speed. The rate that they're able to make these decisions and decide between drones and lings based on the situation. The way they're moving their units around is just absolutely mind-boggling. That they're making such identical decisions, that they know exactly what the other player is thinking. They're so good at the game that they know exactly what their opponent is going to do in the situation, and they're able to mirror it or counter it in their own base as well. And these 2 Zerglings sniping in to try and get some kills. It looks like it's not going to happen this time. But this is what I was saying before. When you're behind, you actually want to attack with your Zerglings, because then you're forcing them to fall back and not go in and kill you, basically. So very nice moves by Julyzerg, sending in a couple Zerglings. It's worth it, even though he's going to lose 2 Zerglings, it's worth it for the time that it takes for Julyzerg, so for Saferzerg to deal with it. And Julyzerg is back to muta production. We just saw him put more drones back on gas. I think he had 1 drone on gas before. Saferzerg has also switched back to gas preemptively. So is he going to make Scourge, or is he going to make mutas this time and try and challenge the muta count instead of just trying to play defensively with the Scourge? Because Scourge are, ironically, a defensive unit, right? They can't really, you know, they can't attack your opponent's supply line, so they are only used for defending against enemy mutas in that sense. And oh, look at this beautiful play. Julyzerg having just 1 or 2 extra drones and coming in with a nice micro as well. Julyzerg going in with 1 muta to try and harass the drones, and it's gonna take 1 Scourge hit, and is now being forced to run for dear life against the second Scourge. I don't know where he's going exactly, but there's nowhere he can run to. He can't run back to any static defenses or anything like that. I guess he could try and run back to the base. Oh, a little bit of a juke. He's going to juke back around. I guess he could run back and hope that he could get a second Mutalisk Scout to try and absorb the hit or try and attack it. But I started to say this earlier, and I don't think I really finished the thought, but because Mutalisk stacking is not a thing. Oh, he did. Oh, nope, he didn't get a drone there. I thought he was going to, like, maybe pick off a drone before that muta died. When you can muta stack, you can micro your mutas, and you can pick off individual Scourge, run away, pick off a Scourge, run away, etc. Whoa, Julyzerg making a Scourge now. Okay, interesting. I'll hold that thought. We do have Saferzerg running in here to try and pick off. He picks off a drone. He's going to get 2. 2 drones would be huge, and it's all a distraction while this other battle is going on back at his main as well. The drone's actually forced to fight and take out those Zerglings, and actually Saferzerg losing a drone as his drones are a little bit confused here. He's feeling as at a disadvantage, so he's actually fighting with the drones and the Zerglings, which is really bad. Some of his Zerglings are just stumbling around behind. Okay, I didn't realize he had a sunken building. He was buying time for that sunken. So Saferzerg playing the Saferzerg build in this situation, getting a sunken colony, so he doesn't have to worry about these little tiny ling run buys that both players have been trying to do it to each other. Julyzerg spawning more drones, by the way, as he has this advantage. If you have the advantage of your Zerglings, your opponent's pinned back a little bit, you can do that. And so that's what he's doing, squeezing out a couple extra drones. And he may also have seen that Saferzerg has more drones, and he's trying to rebuild it. Okay, so this is really interesting. We got both players popping out Scourge. No mutas, though. It's just interesting. Maybe they both feel like, okay, look, if they build 2 mutas, that is 6 less Zerglings that I'm able to make. I mean, compared to making Scourge. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you're making Scourge, the amount of gas you're using is about. Okay, I'm confusing myself now trying to explain it, but point being, if you're making Scourge instead of mutas, you have more minerals left because the Scourge are only 25 minerals for a pair. So making mutas, they might be calculating, okay, if I make mutas right now, then I won't have the minerals. Oh, Saferzerg picking off a couple extra Zerglings in this little skirmish here. Julyzerg not having the numbers advantage, has to fall back a little bit here. But he is building up a muta count now. So here's the thing, is Saferzerg, I feel like Saferzerg is going for only Scourge. I feel like he needs to make some mutas along with it. I don't think fighting with just Scourge is working out for him. But we'll see. Can he win with the Zerglings on the ground? And, well, probably not, because the mutas are right there. So the mutas can join in the battle and provide extra air support. Firepower. But actually the Scourge are now going to chase the mutas away. Oh, he runs back. He tries to spare the Scourge. That's interesting. He actually, I thought he was going to be able to, well, he did for a moment, chase the mutas away with the Scourge, and then go in with the Zerglings themselves. But I think he was like, okay, well, if I had more Zerglings, this would work, but I don't quite have more Zerglings, so. Julyzerg looking to get an Overlord kill, and you know what? Saferzerg can't really do a ton about it. Oh, Saferzerg, okay, again, he's on top of it. Saferzerg so strong play here, matching the God of War hit for hit here. He's going to defend the second Overlord, doesn't lose a second Overlord here. But yeah, he has switched into mutas as well. Oh, I think Julyzerg, he did get that second Overlord. So Saferzerg probably supply blocked at the moment, which is not a good situation to be in when you need to be constantly producing mutas. Although, you know, Zerg can come back from that a little bit easier because they can build up larvae, etc. A little bit different mechanic than if you were supply blocked on a barracks or a gateway trying to produce units. So who has the more mutas now? They've kind of switched out of this Zergling thing, which is interesting. Neither player taking a second base. Trying to get a second gas involved. Again, I think they just know that this is balanced on a nice edge. And Julyzerg actually checking there, sending a Zergling in to check. Both players simultaneously sending a Zergling in to check for an expansion. Very cool how close these players are in skill and how their minds are working on similar levels. This is such an interesting matchup to watch these players doing that. And actually, Julyzerg is sending a drone out. Looks like he might go for an expansion. Now, the Zerglings did attack that drone momentarily. They saw it, so he may expect this is what's going on. Julyzerg even checking that far, like, 9 o'clock base just to make sure there's no hidden expansion going on. And Julyzerg has a nice little flight of Scourge built up so that when the battle happens, he can try and dive in with his own. Well, let's see if we can figure out how many mutas they have, though. It's looking like 8 or 10 for Saferzerg. And actually, we could check on his hotkey, except his webcam is covering it. It's not his webcam, obviously, it's a studio camera, but oh, interesting. He's moving his Overlords over. Now, this could be a defensive thing. You know, we've seen in these long game ZVZs, when you have these giant muta battles, employing the Overlords. Uh-oh, is the drone gonna get, no, it's not gonna get killed, so he's gonna get an expansion up. So, I believe Julyzerg already planted an expansion, so Saferzerg's gonna get his own, but a little bit further behind. Oh, actually a lot further behind. I didn't realize how far along that was. So, we've seen in some of these recent ZVZs, long ZVZs, in fact, I think Julyzerg was one of them. It may have been yellow I'm thinking of, though. Employing the Overlords to soak up damage in the giant muta battle can be very important. It's turned the tide in one battle, and in the other one, Julyzerg was actually able to counteract that by target firing and not not attacking overlords, and so it didn't turn the tide in the other battle. Oh, are we gonna have the big battle right now? Actually, hold that thought. We do have a giant Muta versus Muta action going on. It's about even. They both landed their Scourge now as well, so they're probably gonna reinforce with Scourge, but it's about even. And actually, it looks like Saferzerg might have one less Muta. Maybe he split a little bit worse, but he's going to come in with his own Scourge, and Saferzerg is going to come out on top. Saferzerg coming in with the clutch Scourge at the end. He had one less Muta, but he had more Scourge to come in with, and with only 2 Mutas, he's going to come in and try to kill off some drones. Julyzerg's Muta singular is going to come in and chase them away. Even though it's 2 versus 1, the 2 were low on hit points, and so he's going to run away. Just take, I think he got 1 drone kill. Oh, and he actually runs into the Scourge. 2 Scourge kills on those Mutas. Wow. So things have kind of equalized now. Both players with no Mutas. They just both went all in. Both traded their Scourge away. Both did very effective Scourge attacking. And, oh, he actually catches the Mutalisk as it pops with 1 Scourge. The second one's not quite going to land. He's going to be able to run around in circles for a while. Oh, maybe he's going to catch it. Got him. Oh, that was a different Mutalisk. Julyzerg is splitting his Mutalisks in 2 locations. Take a little pot shot at some Zerglings before dying as well. About 2 dozen Zerglings on the ground for Saferzerg. Looks like similar. I feel like just eyeballing it, I feel like Julyzerg might have 1 or 2 less Zerglings. But it could just be perspective because his were spread out and Saferzerg's were clumped. Okay, now he's adding more there. So, okay, we have a Scourge chasing a Scourge and exploding on a Scourge. So that's interesting. That's something you see every day. In fact, it's something you don't see every day. In fact, it's something you rarely see. More Scourge hitting each other. Interesting. So, and this is Saferzerg trading the Scourge. So maybe he feels like this is advantageous to him. That if he can trade the Scourge away, he'll be better off. Maybe actually thinking, okay, well, Julyzerg is really good at splitting Scourge, so if I can just eliminate that, make it a straight up Muta battle. And actually, Saferzerg has been investing in a lot of Lings, trying to push in here, but the Mutas are there to reinforce. And there's no Scourge or Mutas for Saferzerg, our purple Zerg player, to counteract it. So the Mutas just get free damage. But in the meantime, he's actually countering over here, sending his own Mutas to take on some drones here. This might be a bad idea, but Julyzerg is now forced to split his attention. Saferzerg attacking the expansion with the Mutas while attacking the front with the Zerglings, and Julyzerg cannot have his Mutas in both places at once. And now he's actually going to attack the Zerglings in the main and the Zerglings at the natural. Brilliant move by Saferzerg. He's going to go into both places at once. He's going to start killing drones. A massive slaughter of drones. Every drone at the expansion has been killed while Julyzerg is chasing around Zerglings in his main. Can he even get the hatchery? He might get the hatchery. Julyzerg is running over with his Mutas as we speak, though. Zerglings popping out. He's not going to get the hatchery after all. But in the meantime, I'll bet Saferzerg is doing exactly what we're seeing right now, which is running more Zerglings back into the main, distract from the counterattack. Where are Saferzerg's Mutas is my question. Why were they not at the expansion there? Now they're coming back into the expansion while Julyzerg's in the main. Wow, this is just absolute brilliant swordplay by Saferzerg. You know, you attack one place, and when they parry, you disengage. Whip your sword around their block and attack a different location instead. And if you've got 2 swords, you can attack 2 locations, and if they've only got 1 to defend with, you can get some stabs in, and that's exactly what Saferzerg has been doing and has taken an advantage in this game as by doing so. Just absolutely brilliant play. What can Julyzerg do to reply to it is the question. Now, in the past game, and in other games, Julyzerg has just had better micro in the battles. That's how he's managed to win from a disadvantaged situation. That's how he won the first game of this series. That's how we've seen him win other ZVZ games in the Star League and other ones. So, can he pull that off? Hold that thought because he does run some Scourge in. Oh, he pops! Oh, that was big. He actually popped several of, it looks like a few of Saferzerg's Mutas. And actually, you know, I thought he had a disadvantage, but it looks like Julyzerg has actually managed to build up more Mutalisks. Even before those Scourge popped some, Julyzerg actually having a numerical advantage. So, brilliant plays by Saferzerg, but it's actually hasn't been quite enough to knock Julyzerg off of his macro. And again, that might be from the fact that we had Saferzerg making Scourge earlier. And see, that's the thing. Not microing against those Scourge. If he picked off those Scourge for free, that's how he comes back into the air battle. And hold that thought. We got a lot of Scourge. Oh my god, a ton of Scourge coming in. His Scourge are just sitting there. The Scourge is sitting there, not doing anything. Julyzerg had the numerical advantage in the mutas. Saferzerg had a ton of Scourge, which he could have even... Look at this. Look at the ending of this battle. 1 muta versus 1 muta. If Saferzerg had attacked with those... Oh, and now Julyzerg is playing the same game. Going in with his hidden dagger. We thought he only had 1 weapon, but in fact he had another one hidden the entire time. Going in while the mutas are attacking 1 location. Going in with a poison dagger of Zerglings into the expansion. He's going to take out the hatchery in addition to the drones. What are the drones doing? Why are the drones going back to those minerals? What are they doing there? Every drone gets killed. What? Saferzerg, I was just praising you for being the equal of the God of War. Julyzerg, the best Zerg of the 04-05 era. And then you go and do a couple misplays and lose all of it. And look at that, they're mining out in their mains. There is no backup plan for Saferzerg without an expansion hatchery. But he's gonna get Julyzerg's expansion hatchery though. Is Julyzerg gonna be, no, he's not gonna be able to block it, and Saferzerg actually gets the hatchery, but then he GG's? Okay, well I guess it was just a consolation, like, well, at least I'm gonna get your hatchery, even though I know I'm dead. And maybe, you know, maybe there was Zerglings attacking his main at the exact time that we didn't see. And that's why he knew he was out. Wow, a couple misplays there. And Saferzerg drops away from tying up the series and going to a 3rd game, and instead loses 0-2 to Julyzerg. Wow. Just, I mean, let's see if I can find that spot with the Scourge here, by the way. This is not it. It's a little bit further ahead. Here we go. Look at this. So watch these Scourge. Watch these Scourge. They're on move command. Some are on attack, some are on move. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Scourge sitting around, doing nothing. One gets killed off because it goes in by itself. Then they slowly trickle in. But think about, okay, let's go back here. Let's see if we can go back real quick. Okay, let's count here. So these 4 Scourge, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 5 seconds. Imagine if those Scourge had landed on those Mutalisks, and 5 seconds of firepower from 2 extra Mutalisks. It sounds like not very much, but that is a lot, because look how this battle ends up. Look how it ends up eventually. Some Scourge come in for Julyzerg. The Scourge finally land. It's 1 versus 1. It's 1 versus 1. If those Scourge are not on move command, or if he was paying closer attention to them and he'd actually, you know, immediately after they went past, doubled back and attacked Julyzerg's Mutalisks, this is Saferzerg coming out with 2 or 3 mutas to 0 instead of 1 to 1. And in that case, Saferzerg, I think, actually wins the game. But instead, with the even trade in air, Julyzerg has the ground advantage and goes in and starts killing drones, and Saferzerg can't do anything about it right now. And then he just messes up, and, you know, yeah, because imagine, see right now, and he actually, I guess Julyzerg gets Scourge to follow up with, but they're all dead. Look, imagine if he had 3 mutas attacking these Zerglings instead. The Zerglings probably are retreating, and Saferzerg is buying himself time. Or he's killing all these Zerglings. And so just that minor, tiny little error, that's the kind of thing you kick yourself for, you know, in games like this, of course. So poor guy, but still, it's a minor little thing like that. And then, of course, the icing on the cake is this. This is the blood icing on the death cake, I guess. That he runs in all of his drones and loses like 6 or 7 drones for no reason. So GG. Julyzerg is going to advance to the semifinals. He is within striking distance of getting to the finals again after having been knocked out before getting to the semis even in the previous OSL, which he was trying to defend his championship. So well played, though, by both players. You know, Saferzerg made just 1 or 2 little errors, but the rest of the time was just immaculate, beautiful Zerg versus Zerg play. Very nicely done. So, you know, maybe we'll see him perform better in the rest of 2005 and get some wins. All right, thanks very much for watching. GG. And we got one more quarterfinal, and then we'll know who the semifinalists are. But it's already been very exciting, Star League. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Thanks for watching.